what's going on, guys? So, super, as he pulls a Michigan, just slams a Michigan while I'm setting up the cameras. So, I went out to Calgary in September to work with Ryan Lomberg, little Michigan behind the net. No, and he just won the Stanley Cup, which I was fortunate enough to be there at in the previous June. So now my Gemini is coming on. So I'm not mic'd up in this one, so I'm gonna actually talk you guys through the session a little bit, what I was thinking, give you a little commentary, kind of what we were working on, what the focus was, and stuff like that. So just starting off, you got the net. I've got the net tilted there down on its face, as you can see, and the pucks are. If you look at the bottom screen, you can see the pucks are on the half wall, and basically what we're talking about is what I'm looking for. Like I'm going to bank it off the net, and he's going to fire it or make a fake and come around the other way, then receive a pass in tight. Okay, so I believe he had two options here. He could immediately fire that puck off the post, or he could fake the shot and make the move around the net. I think that's important to distinguish because often in a lot of drills, I want two options, right? Like, boom, there's the shot, and then he opens up. I don't want to make him have to do the drill one way. Like, it's okay, bank it off the net, you have to shoot, and then you have to get a pass. I like to give him two options. And one of the main reasons is, right, does that shot there look like the fake version of it? Okay, so that first rep he did, he faked and went around the net. I want to see when he does shoot, does it look identical to the fake that he makes when he doesn't shoot, right? And so when we look at his next rep that he fakes, we can watch that. Now, I think what I'm telling him here, because I passed that puck so fast that he wasn't really ready for it, I'm telling him after you shoot, like, be ready, it's coming. I'm actually trying to pass that second puck. Okay, so he rips it. I'm trying to pass that second puck when his back is slightly still turned and he doesn't have full vision of it all the way in. Obviously, it's hard to be perfect, right? Like the one previous to that, I fired it maybe a little bit too quick, and that one there maybe was a little bit too late. But I'm trying to find that perfect, right? Like there's his fake shot. If you fake shot and go around the net, he won't be blind to the pass. And so in that case, I'm just trying to rip one where we're working on the proper wing one-timer. Okay, so here, right, like that's not a super easy finish for a lot of guys. You take a hot pass, proper wing side to your forehand, and you got to one-time it into the net, especially if the pass isn't like perfect, right? It's a little bit back behind you into your skates, or it's a little bit out in front where you have to kind of reach and extend your arms. It's not a super easy finish. So I've basically designed two separate drills. As I said, now I'm showing them like what the shot would look like versus what the fake could look like. Because again, I'm trying to make them look identical. So a little open hip drag fire, or keep going to make the deke around. Fake shot push off. Yeah. And then the secondary pass has its own secondary thing that we're working on depending on which situation. So immediate shot. Now on that immediate shot, I want him to stay in front of the net. And the purpose of that is so that he would be blind for that second pass, right? Like I mentioned on the other side. Oh, you can see the tendies out there. We actually found a goalie out in Calgary who was interested in taking some shots. So that helped out too, because we did sessions all week, Monday through Friday, and there wasn't a goalie for the first few. And so having the goalie was good because obviously, much more realistic shooting to score, and drills you can do when you have a goalie are different as well. So that's pretty sweet. So yeah, just discussing, like, I think I remember at this time he had said, like, that shot there, or deking past the net there from that glide doesn't feel, like, super comfortable. Being born in 1994, he would be 30 years old, and we didn't shoot necessarily with that open hip glide that much when we were younger, if you're kind of, 25 or older. So that's definitely not a super awesome feeling for some of the slightly older players, whereas the young kids now are shooting off that open hip glide a lot easier. We tended to load and shift a lot more. So I do find with some of the older players that shooting out of that motion is a little trickier for them. There we go. maybe not shooting out of it, but like making dekes from it, or feeling like when you're in that position, you don't want to shoot and you want to keep going past the net. It doesn't feel kind of as smooth. Oh, nasty. Right around this time, if I don't know the player, I'm telling them, hey, I'm going to send some passes to your backhand, and that's on purpose. And maybe sometimes I just screw up my pass and it's not on purpose, but like deal with those backhand passes. I'm not sitting here trying to not make those. I want you to have to, especially at this level, to have to deal with passes that are anywhere, right? And I will sometimes fire it out to the backhand on purpose. Okay, that one fired a little bit too far to his front leg, so that he's got to, adjust the hands and kind of move in. Goalie jumping in the net now. I think this drill we're going to be almost finished and moving on. A couple more reps. Yeah, see, I definitely like him to move a little smoother after that fake shot. But as I said, we have goals here with this session, which is reps, shooting, scoring, getting pucks away quick, being deceptive. And so, preseason, this, by the way, is preseason. It's the week before camp, or 2 weeks before camp. So we're not going to get into like trying to like teach and explain too many like new details either. That's one thing I guess that's worth talking about with coaching and instructing, is like, how can you be trying to work on stuff and give pointers and give feedback and some correction and stuff without like completely going over the top and breaking things right back down and being like, no, let's start over, right? We're not at the stage of let's start over. This is an NHL player. This is a player getting ready for camp. Like, we want to make little corrections where they can feel that, that actually did feel better. That kind of worked. Versus like, now I gotta like slow it right down to learn something new. Not worth it. That might be more of a April, May, June conversation, depending how far your team goes, how early you're starting your offseason. Okay, so let's move to drill number 2. I like to structure the drills if I'm gonna have a net placed in the middle of the ice, and like I like to try to structure multiple drills with that same apparatus if I already have it. I have a dozen drills with the net in this position. Might as well do 2 or 3 of them back to back to back, so I don't have to reposition it. I've got drills with nets in different spots, and I can piggyback 2 or 3 drills with the net in the same spot. So here he's taking it off the mesh, and he's changing the angle. Right, we're not bouncing it off the red crossbar. The crossbar, that is a drill we would use, but for a player kind of this level, nice angle change snipe. We want the puck to be as unpredictable as possible, so he's shooting it off the meshing, angle change, and he's got option 2 to pass. Okay, nice way to get that on net on a bit of a grenade from me. So remember, like I said in the initial clip, I like to always pair options, where if he's dragging there and firing it, he has the option to drag it and pass. Oh, had him beat forehand. Okay, so the deke or the pass option out of this, it needs to look identical, right? So what I would urge you to say is like, try to predict whether you can tell if he's passing or shooting just before he passes or shoots, right? When he drags that puck out to his right leg, kind of beside the net, can you tell which one he's doing? You shouldn't be able to if he's doing it right here, right? You shouldn't be able to tell if he's ripping that or if he's passing it over. And if you can't tell, that's how you know that he's doing it correctly. Drag, fire. And we had talked a lot all week about shooting the puck lower. Without the goalie in the net, it's a lot easier to be like firing at top corner. And you can see he's put in about 5 on the shot here that have gone over the pad under the glove. Now this is not easy for the goalie. I don't know which camera angle. My brain goes right up to the top one, but if you look at that bottom one, like that puck comes out of nowhere. Watch that bottom screen. You get a bit of a perspective from the goalie on what the goalie is seeing. Okay, again, watch that bottom one and see how the puck kind of shows up out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden it's coming in, right? And this is interesting to learn too. Like when we angle change, when we toe drag release, when we try to shoot around a defender, there's the obvious goal. Oh, got him. Nice fake shot, coach. There's the obvious goal of trying to get the puck through the traffic and not hit the shin pads and change the angle to get it around the defender. But the other one is like, the goalie doesn't necessarily see it if it's hiding behind a shot blocker and then pops out and angle changes quickly, right? You are getting the element of surprise by messing up their vision as well. So keep that in mind too. All right, I think now we're going to switch to the opposite side. So I'm showing them kind of like how I would pull this puck maybe over to my off leg to snap it, or again, from that position that I could shoot from on my off leg, sliding over the pass. Now, oftentimes I'll say to players, look, you don't have to take the specific type of shot that I'm showing you, but different shots might be better suited for different situations because of the ability to pass out of them, right? Pulling this over to his left foot creates the option to pass or shoot. If he was to line up with a different type of shot, passing it over might be harder or less believable. Look at that! Little heel chop dish on the 2-on-1. Did anyone see that? Was that just me? Go rewind that back. That was gross. Off leg and dish. All right, so on that pass, it definitely looked like he could have shot. Okay, we're trying to train all of our movements to be triple threats. I like to use the term triple threat. Oh, there's what I was talking about before. Tough finish. The goalie was across, so he had to really try to get that up in the top corner. That's a tough finish on the proper wing. Triple threat means you could shoot, you could pass, or you could skate/deke. And I believe in the offensive zone, players want to be in triple threat positions as often as they can, especially if you're kind of around an area where you could shoot from or would shoot from. Obviously, that home plate area especially. A lot of players are not in triple threat positions, and then all of a sudden they need to try to shoot and they have to dust it off or set it up to shoot because they weren't in a set position, or the pass is there, and by the time they do the extra stick handle or prep the puck and fire it, that lane is gone. We've all been on the bench watching and been like, and see the pass lane, oh, move it, and then, oh, too late, right? Those lanes come and go very, very quickly. So if you can be in triple threat positions, you're kind of always ready to make the play. So being up on his off leg here, out to the left side, is the triple threat position I'm talking about, right? Take the puck, put it there, and he's actually snapping it right out of his stride. Oh. I forget what I was saying. Triple threat positions. Oh yeah, he's shooting it out of stride there. Okay, but he's also passing it out of stride. So I might coach some players to glide and hold it on your off leg for a moment, pull it out to the side, glide and hold. But you can see, boom, he's snapping that puck right from backhand to forehand out of the stride, meaning there's nothing wrong with that. That's a faster way to shoot, faster way to release the puck. He's got to pass out of that same motion, though, so he's got to pull and move. Look at that. That looks like he's shooting it, right? He's pulling it over. It looks like he's going to fire it, and then he slides the pass. You can actually see the goalies not following all the passes, which is kind of normal for goalies when they're just getting rep. But if I did have multiple players, I would give, let's say, the player that would be in my position, the instructor's position there, the option to shoot. And by giving them the option to shoot, that keeps the goalie playing it for real, right? The goalie would have to go out and challenge, where the pass went to, and then that's going to create, when it gets passed back, more realistic scenarios for the player, for Lomberg there, going to the net to have to be, versus the goalie cheating a little bit and being more over than he would have been. But we work with what we got, and then in that situation, I would tell a goalie maybe, go in the net, because the goalie, that exhausts the goalie more. It's better practice for what they want. They want to move properly and stuff. I would say to them, do 3 or 4 reps and then get out of the net and rest. Come back when you're fresh. You control your own volume where you can move the way you want to move, and that's better for the players too. A lot of goalies will be hesitant to get out of the net, and then they'll just have, poor habits on the drills, which doesn't help either person, but it is what it is. So, okay, so here we go, drill 3. Again, keeping the net in the same spot. This is another drill I love to do, where I'm going to bank it off the post as he's skating up here around, almost up around the blue line. And as it comes off the post, he's going to make the pass. He's going to fake, give and go, stay short side. Nice goal there. So we did earlier in the week, remember, we were skating Monday through Friday, all 5 days. Earlier in the week, he would make this pass and skate to the right of the net. Oh my God. He almost got that too. He would pass to me and then skate to the right side of the net. I'd give it back as a give and go. So he's trying to fake that. He's trying to pass and do a little burst of speed to the right before cutting back left. Okay, another nice shot. If you can visualize the defenseman whose eyes follows the pass to me, there I'm trying to show him burst of speed, then stop up. Right? You want to fake that give and go, burst of speed, stop up, and then we're actually posting up again rather than skating straight through. So burst of speed, slow down, get to the near side, post up again, simulating that there's like a defender and another forward in front of the net, maybe like we don't have ice to go to. So there's a lot of little things in this drill: pass, burst, slow up, stop up, and then try to rip from that nice post up spot. He's actually executing this extremely, extremely well. If you know Lomberg, you know that skating is one of his absolute weapons. He's a dynamic, explosive skater, very agile, very quick, gets in on the forecheck, uses that skating, protects the pucks along the walls and stuff. His skating is excellent. He's unbelievable hands and shot too, but unfortunately that hasn't been his role. Hasn't been able to get into that kind of top six type of a role. But hey, part of what has made him have the career he's had is that he understands the role he's been given, and he's one of the best at doing it, right? And I'm sure he would love a different role, a bigger role, more minutes, whatever. But he'll be the first guy to tell you like whatever the team needs, and maximize and do his best with what the team needs. So, but just anyway, digressing there on how awesome he's doing with the details of accelerating, stopping up, finding the spot. There's a lot of speed change. There's a lot of good skating technique. You will see a lot of players, even pros, do this drill, and it's a bit of a glide fest. They're not going to show you that quick burst over towards the right before the stop up. They're not going to show you that second stop up in the right spot to shoot. And so he's doing that excellent, making a great example of it. Okay, look at the burst of speed. 1, 2, stop up. There you go. Pass off the skate, kick, fire. Right? No complaint about it, no frustration, just understanding it's part of the process. Pass. Take off. Oh, I guess I gave him option 2. So that was what I was saying at the beginning, was the drill we'd been doing previously in the week. And I guess maybe trying to keep it so that the goalie is guessing and he gets a little bit of both looks. Now, I would like to see off the pass back a burst of speed into space. These first 2 reps that he's gone to the right, I haven't seen that. Okay, that's a good burst there. He's bursting more on the one where he stops short than necessarily the one where he goes to the far side of the net. Hopefully that's kind of what I'm mentioning to him here. Tricky thing with privates too is that, you have to be careful with the work to rest ratio, right? In a private session, it's easy as the instructor to want to go, want to get reps. But you got to kind of understand, like, he just did 4 there in a row. Quick break, we get going again. You got to make sure that he's fresh enough to be executing at a good pace, at a good speed. Nice. Okay, and at the same time, I think I might have said to him, like, shoot to score. I remember we talked a lot this week about, like, really kind of, taking every shot as an opportunity to bury it and focusing on it versus, sometimes in practice you can just get into complete the drill. And I hate this with younger players. We're doing a stick handling drill or we're doing some kind of skating pattern and I give them a shot at the end. And you might as well not even give them a shot at the end. The shot at the end is just, it's sloppy. They don't try hard. They don't go in with any speed. And I really think that, especially like shooting when you're tired, shooting at the end of a skating drill, sometimes that's the hardest, right? Is you don't get the best shot away because you're at the end of a shift or you're tired from a bunch of skating that you did just to get to that spot. And so shooting when you're tired but just learning to shoot to score at all times. All the best goal scorers that I've ever worked with, Wyatt Johnston comes to mind as somebody who he wants to score on every shot, right? He'll even look for goalies like if he's doing private shooting lessons like this past summer, we'll have a few goalies that are interested in coming out. Obviously, going to work with an NHL player, you want to goalies want to be in net for that. They want to experience that. But Wyatt, let's say, would choose, if I ask him which goalie you want me to call, who do you prefer, he'll choose a guy that's grinding, that wants to stop him, that wants to try more than a goalie that's at a higher level. Right? Let's say you have an NHL or AHL goalie versus who's not trying as hard, grinding as hard, versus a younger guy, maybe a junior player or something who's really like in it and trying his hardest. You'd rather have that competition, that guy that wants to stop it because he wants to score and he wants someone that's trying his hardest to stop it. Shoot to score every time, guys, if I could give advice. Pass. Okay, there we go. This is, nice shot. I like that. I like the angle we're on here to look at that blocker side. But we're looking to see, like, does he take a little burst of speed towards the left side of the net? If you can visualize that net being a defender, when he makes this pass down to me on the dot, if you can visualize the defender turning his eyes and his chest towards me down where the pile of pucks is for a split second, and when a player would go to the left on a give and go, like, oh, that's a nice release low, like that other option that I'll give him later of skating to the left, it's potential that the defenseman turns his back to the player to then go and mark him, hit that spot again, to mark him on the give and go. And that's where the cutback actually happens behind the D's back. I wish I could kind of give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. It would be easy to demonstrate. But the little burst of speed to the left, what I'm saying, is what would get that D reacting. I think that might be what I'm showing him here. Get a little bit more left. Get a little bit more left before you cut back in. Because that's what the D is going to see. Oh, I might be showing it here. When the D turns to follow the pass, okay, you want them to think you're bursting so that maybe they go like that. They turn their back to try to cover you. And that's at the moment where you're cutting back into the space if they turn their back, right? So as they're following the pass initially down low, out of the corner of their eye, you want them to see you bursting to the far side. So they're like, oh, damn. That's my assignment. And as they scramble over to pick you up, you're cutting in behind their blind spot and you're wide open, right? So a little bit more of a burst there before you cut back is gonna be in the corner of their eye. Yeah. Wow, how fortunate was it that I just showed that little visual of the thing I was talking about? Because I'm sure some of you, as I was blabbing there, were just like, what is he going on about? That's hard to visualize. All right, nice. 7:55 up on the clock, so we're 25 minutes in. Usually it's about 8 minutes per drill. So we'll probably only have a couple more minutes of this one. Not really sure what I'm going on about here. I think that was the main teaching point. But again, using these at strategic points where the player needs to rest anyways, right? Understanding that they can get 4 or 5 good reps in, they need a break, and trying to teach. I remember that. I remember saying I couldn't do that again if I tried, and then doing it again. Oh, that's good stuff. Here we go. Okay, he made it a good attempt. He made a good attempt to go far side, a little bit better. I love when he plays those pucks, and when we play those pucks that aren't perfect, those bobblers, those rolling pucks, those pucks that are in your skate. Okay, that one there. Like, players don't understand. As an instructor, I almost wish sometimes I could pass that way on purpose. I wish I could be like, oh, I'm going to throw him a grenade and have it still land and be shootable. But, like, those things happen organically. Just puck was rolling by mistake. And so it's important that the players understand that we want to work on that. We want to work on passes that are everywhere, right? Even this, throwing it out front and playing that. We want to work on all of that. So treat that as we're playing every situation as it comes. Do the best you can, no matter where it is. Ooh, off the bar. And then you end up getting all these reps off of all different variety of situations. So many young players, they'll like bitch and complain about bad passes. And it's like, I had a meeting with Phil Tomasino after his first year in Nashville. First year in the NHL as like a 19-year-old or whatever. Or 20-year-old, and he comes back and he says, the thing I want to work on most is shooting off bad passes. I don't want you to give me one good pass all summer. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but like, that's a player who's realizing that they don't have time and space, and what's was plaguing them during the season was getting pucks away when it's not perfect, or sometimes a perfect pass is not perfect because it was perfect because they avoided the defender. If I'm trying to avoid a defender's stick or throw it into an area where it can get through, it's not going to be perfect. But that was the best pass I could have made. And so players have to learn to shoot off these bad passes. But younger players get so upset about it. And I try to say to them, like, you should be wanting that. I remember Steven Stamkos. This is awesome because I was young. I was probably I was in my early 20s. And Stammer was either still with Sarnia or just drafted and played in Tampa. And I remember him saying, Razor, you're too good of a passer. Can you make some of the passes worse? And I remember it blew my mind being so young back then and having this guy who was a first overall pick. Obviously, he was the talk of the town, and for him to tell me to pass worse, and I was blown away that he would even ask me that in the first place, and then that I would actually start consciously having to put it. He's like, yeah, put them a little bit off my back foot so I have to adjust. Put them a little bit off my front foot so I have to adjust. Slam the odd one to my backhand where I can't one time it. And I think that's such a cool story. It was my first experience with it. But again, all the best goal scorers I've worked with have that same mentality. And we will have those conversations about how important it is to shoot those pucks ahead of time so they know. But yeah, really important. Okay, so here's a nice one. We've got two options here: up onto the off leg and angle change, or up onto the off leg and shoot it through. So we're not shooting at a stride. We've got to have that glide. And again, like all my drills or most of my drills, I'm trying to give two options. Okay, even though that was like an angle change rip, Austin Matthews toe drag release style, or Connor Bedard, whoever you prefer, I'm trying to show that it's going to come from being set up on your off leg. Okay, so he's set up on his left foot, and then he has a choice to either fire it, just like that, to the left side of the net, or from that position that looks like he's going to shoot, he's set, looks like he's going to fire it, he could angle change and snipe it glove. Again, I'm looking at the top screen kind of automatically, but I think the bottom screen is what really gives you a good perspective on what the goalie's seeing. Okay, he's kind of set up out on the left. He's got a very thin lane to fire it through. He's trying to go over the blocker. The crazy thing too here is a lot of people might criticize this is an NHL player, he's not even scoring. Realize that the goalie knows the drill, right? And the goalie even knows that we're trying to aim over the pad under the blocker. We're not trying to go top corner. We're trying to aim over the pad under the glove on the angle change one to the glove side. So goalie knows exactly where it's coming. And some players, that might discourage them as well, right? That might get them trying to shoot in all different spots. And there's nothing wrong with shooting in all different spots. But really, we're trying to get reps of just accuracy and hitting your target. So whether the goalie knows or not, hit your target. Try to beat him when he knows. And if you hit your spot and he saves it because he predicted it and knew the drill, who cares? You're still working. Compared to an empty net, it's still the same thing. You did see one rep there where he I don't know if you guys caught it. He went up onto his left foot, and then he went right foot to left again and still shot short side. So the puck didn't really move. It was two strides, which is almost a fake of the angle change one. He only did it once there. But keep an eye out for it because we did that previous in the week, and it was option 3. So remember, I'm not really coaching him too much because we've done most of these drills already this week. So this is kind of hey, we got the goalie today. Let's try to score some goals. Let's try to be accurate. Let's do some drills we've already done that we were feeling good about all week. And so if you see that, I'll point it out if I see the foot switch one too. Again, choosing your spots of where to talk to them. Like we're talking, sometimes a player will ask a question, and I'll say, take 4 or 5 reps, then let's talk about it. Like strategically planning when you're going to have these conversations and when you're going to point things out with when he needs to be resting anyways. That's really the only difference between a private and a group session. Like I would argue, if I'm running my small group session properly, up to let's say 16 kids on the ice with 4 instructors, or even 20 kids on the ice with 4 instructors, little mini groups of 5. If I'm running that session how it should be run, the work to rest ratio should be the same in that session as it is in a private lesson. Okay, you know, you're not necessarily getting more reps in a private, especially if there are things that you need quality and you don't want to be too tired on. What you're really getting in the private lesson that's different is just those little conversations, a little bit more explanation. And for some younger kids, that actually can be worse. That can make them overthink things. You can start saying things that don't need to be said. Like there's a difference between what you need to know and what they need to know. Some instructors, I think, mess that up. I learned that. There we go. Nice one under the blocker. I learned that in a coaching clinic, an NCCP coaching clinic back when I was in university. You know, a lot of coaches, instructors, whatever, make the mistake of trying to explain every single thing they know about something. But sometimes that can be too much information for players. Players don't, they just kind of need specific cues. They need things to keep them focusing on the thing that they need to focus on. There's another nice one over the pad. Notice we're not going top corner here. All these shots, whether he misses, whether he makes it, we're trying to hit that 18 inches spot just over the pad, under the blocker, under the catching glove. We really tried to hone in on, you know, on the accuracy of those shots, because sometimes I think players can lose that and can really just try to get away firing at top corner. Go watch an OHL warm-up. You know, NHL a little bit, not as much. Go watch an OHL warm-up. It's just glass, right? Because A, they're all aiming top corner. And B, you're a little lazy in the warm-up. You're not fully like focusing on staying down on the puck, and you know, you're trying to warm up and feel good. And so the combination of not fully focusing on your spot and aiming top corner all the time just leads to the puck flying over the net all the time, not understanding the importance of that 18 inches spot. So I'm really kind of proud of Lombo here, and happy to see that he's, you know, even with the goalie stopping them, because the goalie kind of knows, he's not changing that up. He's not letting his ego get in the way. He's really trying to get the reps of what we're trying to spend time on, what we're trying to work on. Okay, I think if I am guessing correctly, we're going to move into some net front work here. The pucks went up to the top blue. I think he's going to be in front screening and tipping. And then either playing that rebound live. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so then we're going to go out and do a high tip from the angle, skating in towards the net. Just telling the goalie here so the goalie knows what to expect. So we got a nice, and again, this bottom view here, if you look at the bottom camera, you can see a nice angle of whether he's in front of the net or not, right? Little tip on net. We're not playing the rebounds on these ones, I guess, in the interest of, unless they sit there, in the interest of more reps, right? Like if it sits in front, play it. Oh my goodness! What time did that happen at? 32, 52? That was freaking filthy. Everyone put their stick up in the air so we can go find that clip. That was gross. Oh my God. Yeah, so we're playing rebounds that are close enough that he doesn't skate so far away from the net like that. He's not going to go play that because we really want reps on the tips here. There are drills where I'll say play every tip live. Maybe if it goes further out, make a pass back to me, head to the net for a high tip on the way in, so you get a different look, and then you're back in front. You react to the puck and make a pass, then get a high tip on the way back to the net from me, and then post up in front and start over. There's different ways to run these types of drills. Really just depending on what I'm trying to get out of it, right? So I know that it was Friday and we're trying to get as many touches as we can. We never want to not play the rebound. I'm not a fan of tipping it and not turning and looking to find that puck, because half the time it's right there in your feet, and why not? Why not turn? Like, it's different if it's an empty net, I guess, because those pucks aren't going to kick out, but I still think the tip and turn and look should be done together. It doesn't take too much extra time, and then you create that habit. So many players don't understand the importance of that, of turning and being ready. I mean, NHL players, of course, do. That can make or break what, you know, whether you make it up to that level or not. But every time you tip it, turn. Boom, turn. Look, boom, off the back wall, it's there. Oh, he almost chiseled that. Tip, turn. If it's playable, play it. Okay, and it's going to put you in all kinds of awkward positions. Like, He's got pucks out wide on his backhand. Oh, I love that. Pass. So this is what I was talking about earlier. We're doing a high tip at the net and then post back up and start again. Go back if you want and watch that. Again, Ryan Lomberg is so elite at his wall work. Maybe I'll do a video one time and pull a whole bunch of clips of him just mangling defenders when he's picking up rims, picking up pucks down along the wall. He's so good with his punches, fake stops. So when when you see the puck get rimmed here, it's going to happen after a few tips. Watch his pickups. Okay, watch how he either bursts into it and does like a cutback right there. Little speed changes. Nice save, nice save. Back in front. Get in front of him. Okay, look, so he's looking for it. It didn't come out, but he's looking for it. Trying to find it. Oh my gosh, what a save. Little cut into the puck, right? Glide for a second. That's going to get the defender kind of waiting to see which way you go, and then boom, burst into it. I think I know what I'm going to tell him here. I'm going to talk to him about the angles, because if you see that one I ripped at him, he was a little bit too wide out, and it's very hard to deflect a puck on net, a rocket shot for a tip when you're on too much of an angle. There's a very perfect angle where all you have to do, you can even have one hand on your stick, because all you have to do is touch it and it will go on net. That angle is around 160 degrees-ish. I know that because I've pulled clips from some of the best tips like this in the NHL and used the software to draw the lines. But if you're too wide, and like I'm going to show this right now, if you're standing kind of out here and the D rips it, you have to almost shoot it on net. You can't tip it on net. And so if you're skating on your way into a better spot, the D has to wait. The D almost has to wait until you're in that spot before the D can shoot it. Well, sometimes the D don't have time. The D don't have time to just wait and shoot it at the right moment. So trying to get to that 160 degree angle spot as quickly as you can and then stop up there is a huge tip. And of course, it all depends on defenders, because there's also just finding soft ice spots where defenders aren't and moving away to get open. And so we can't completely say that it's always about finding that perfect angle, because it's about finding open space too. But I guess I'm saying all things the same, if you have choice on where to go, understanding where that angle is and getting there as quick as you can. A lot of players try to time it. They go in slow and they try to time getting to that area with speed. And I'm a big believer in get to that area as quick as you can, because your D might need to fire it. And then stop up in that area so you don't leave it and you're in there longer. Okay, so now I'm talking about which way to spin based on the defender's positioning. Right, if the defender's trying to come around you and stick lift you, you want to spin off of them. Not all the time, but most of the time you want to spin off them in the way, in the right direction to where their stick was. And I'm often, if I'm a defense, this is a great point for D. If I'm shooting, I'm trying to get a perspective on where the D is which side the D's trying to stick lift from as well. And I'm potentially going to shoot it to the opposite side so that when he spins off, I'm creating an easier spin-off rebound for the player in front. All right? So D, be aware of little details like that. That's actually not a little detail. It's a huge detail. You're worried about your own shot blocker coming out at you. Look at that. Little fake stop on the cutback. Ah, see? That was my fault. I kind of jammed him a bit. Oh! Little mishy attempt. I kind of jammed him a bit, but he did a better job of getting in. And I think I just showed him there. When you do get jammed up and you're tighter, you do the old little Crosby pitching wedge instead of the backhand. Love it. Trying to fire some on the ice. Oh, nice try through the feet. Right, little fake cut on the pickup. Right, all these little movements. Oh, what a nice try. Not only did he high tip, he lifted that one up off the bar. That was nasty. Man, I will say, being on the ice with NHL players, you know, doing these skill drills, you see some of the grossest things. Like, people don't realize, right? They see a Michigan in a game, and of course, because it's a game and it hasn't been seen that often, like it's the sickest thing you've ever seen. But you don't understand what these guys do in practice. You don't understand like how much, in order to try it in a game and pull it off. You know, these guys that do that type of stuff, they've been working on it for years and years. They're actually much better at it than you realize. They can hit it like 90% of the time with no pressure on them. It's more a matter of like, is it worth it to try in a game with what am I sacrificing? Am I giving up a better opportunity, et cetera, et cetera? But like, yeah, it's just a disgusting little pucks batted out of midair. Like that goal we set at 32 minutes where he turned his stick over and flipped it. Like Wyatt Johnston buried a tip in the playoffs last year where he turned his stick over. Let's see this pickup. Okay, a little bit of a fake to the point. That's a much better spot. So even there, like that one was tipped wider than that. And that's why I said 160 degrees, because as you get in more towards 180 degrees, which is like a straight line to the net, you're actually going to tip it wide. So you still have to be wide enough that getting your stick on it doesn't tip it wide of the net, but not so wide that you can't tip it, you have to shoot it. And so another tip to D, if that person going to the net gets like past the 160 too straight on, then I'm actually teaching the D to shoot that puck in the air on net and let the forward knock it down on the trajectory it's already on, right? So the D almost has to decide for the forward if they're in the right spot for the right tip, or if they're going to tip it wide, whether to shoot it on net high for them to knock it down. All right, here's another drill. One of my favorites. This is one of Wyatt Johnston's favorite drills. Phil Tomasino as well. Andreas Athanasiou used to love this drill. I love it because three players are all involved, and three players all have a different skill that they're working on, and it can get competitive. So I'm saucing it, trying to get the pass through to Lombo. He's shooting it off of a sauce, right? So it's not an easy release. Oh, keeping the goalie honest there. And the middle guy's trying to knock it down out of midair, so he's working on his hand-eye. If he knocks it down, he gets to shoot. I think I told, because this isn't another player, it's a goalie instructor, I think I told him, try to touch it, yeah, like that, and just try to angle change it. Because what then comes along with those three players doing those things is any puck that he knocks down or touches or deflects that doesn't get through, Lombo has to shoot that off of the puck that's deflected, bouncing, bobbling, changing angles, right? So this is very much a drill around shooting off of an imperfect pass. Like, look at that. Kick up and release versus, right, what most players would have stick handled that and settled it. Okay, even there, right? What a beautiful release off of a bobbling puck. He got that on net. That sometimes is some of the biggest goals you see. Goalies are all down and out, net's wide open, and you have to deal with a puck like that. So again, you see like just the type of guy he is, the attitude he has, and how he grinds, with the fact that he's loving it. Okay, so yeah, I remember him saying, "You go in the middle now." Talking about big wind-ups, big one-timers, and how they're not as common in the game anymore. And you know, with the sticks the way they are, you're seeing a lot of NHL players just kind of in that half one-timer, stick halfway up kind of motion, because the sticks are just so phenomenal, and these guys are so strong that what they sometimes would sacrifice for a full wind-up, i.e. accuracy, quickness, ability to kind of respond and do different things, they don't really get enough out of the extra power. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm trying to keep the goalie honest with my fake shot to give Lombo an accurate look at the net, right? Because if the goalie cheats, I was talking about this earlier, I'm shooting some of them to make sure that, yeah, on the pass across, he's actually got a sliding goalie, a goalie that was kept honest by my shot. Oh, nice back against the green almost. So we're really just working on accuracy here. We're really just working on trying Trying to keep the goalie in as honest of a position as we can. And then give Lombo the chance to hit his target. Okay, so I think I'm trying to create where the slide would get him to. Yeah. Because I guess it's a little exhausting for the goalie to follow every single play. So we kind of get 5-6 reps for him, and then he needs his break, and now we're just kind of using him as a dummy. You know, another good thing about having a goalie who's just happy to be there with an NHL player, right? He's happy to go down and be a dummy in that situation. If he had a teammate maybe ask him to do that, I don't know that he would be like as willing, right? But he's kind of happy to be there. So, you know, in general, a little bit younger goalies with a little bit older shooters is a great combo that we find. Even minor hockey, you have like a U15 goalie with U16 or U18 players, or a U18 goalie with junior players. They like having the harder shots and the better players. There's a nice one just over the pad. Ah, got him. Got him. And then because of that fact, you know, you're able to, they're going to grind harder. I mentioned it with Wyatt Johnston earlier. They're going to grind harder. And also another thing that's important to note is, like, these shooting drills, like with the player firing so many pucks and me forcing them to do it in a certain way and not take extra time and rush them off the bad passes and all that, that leads to the shooter being a worse, quote unquote, worse shooter than they would be. And so oftentimes within the drills we're running and working on the things we want to work on, having a lower level goalie almost balances that out and makes it more fair. You know, like this defender here, this goalie coach, he's tipping these pucks, and Lombo's got to react, grab it. I'm stressing quick release as well. So of course he's not going to, like, look at that, out of the air, and it's still rolling when he fires it, right? So it's perfectly suitable for a goalie that's in a lower level than the NHL to be in that net, you know, and even stop more than half of them because we're working on stuff. I love it. I love how he's one-timing all of these pucks. Like, you guys don't realize that I will run these exact same drills with players. They might be in NCAA, they might be in the OHL, they might be junior, they might be U16 AAA, U18 AAA, they might be just drafted. Great players. And they will not do it like this. They will not they will not take that puck and shoot that puck, right? They'll leave that puck and turn their nose up at it. And, like, just the details you're seeing, I mean, I don't know. I hope young players are maybe watching and getting inspired by an NHL player here, but the details that that Ryan Lomberg will do is so head and shoulders above what most players would do, and it makes a massive difference. It honestly, it makes a huge difference. You get to that example I was talking about with Tomasino, where he came back and he's like, I don't want you to make a good pass to me all summer. And it's like, you know, let's say you spent, you know, I only met and started with Phil right after he got drafted to Niagara in the OHL. But imagine you started like a guy like Wyatt, training from like 10 years old, 11, 12 years old, and every rep you did, you played every puck, you reacted to every puck, you shot the bouncing ones, you didn't get frustrated, you dealt with the bad passes and the bobbling pucks and whatever. By the time you hit that Phil Tomasino eureka moment of, like, I need to learn to shoot off of bad passes, or I need to practice more, you've been doing it your whole life, right? Don't get to that stage where you finally, somebody at a higher level tells you something and you haven't been doing it that way. Okay, so now we're switching it up here where Lombo's knocking them down out of the air. How gross is this? Like, you're going to see a clinic here, bud. He's going to touch every puck, and you know what? I think I'm passing him. If it gets to me, I'm passing them back to him because I don't need to practice my shot. You know what I mean? Give him the reps. But careful the NHLer doesn't tip it up into your jibs like that other one. Okay, 4-6. 5 out of 7. 6 out of 8. And this is what I was talking about, right? Like, a player in an NHL game knocks a puck out of the air, you know, and it's all over the TSN page. It's all over the videos. And And it's like, guys, they can knock down 80% of the pucks. Like, the guys that have the skills can knock down 8 out of 10. Again, it becomes, is it worth the 80% wave in a game versus trying to go for it with your glove, or versus not swinging at it, which costs you time. If you miss it, now you're not going to get back on defense as quick. So maybe you don't elect to try that, because even though it's 80%, the 20% of the time it's in the back of your net. Or that 80% drops to 60 in a game because of the adrenaline and stuff like that. So, but yeah, just the skills these players have are nuts. It's nuts. And so if you can knock down 80% of the pucks and you want to work on a shooting drill off of bad passes or off of scrambling pucks, might as well knock them down and shoot them like this, because you're not really wasting much time. You're knocking down the majority of them, and you're still getting your shot reps in. Now we switch to forehand touches, forehand knockdowns, and then his back's to the net. So he's either going to spin and shoot or take some backhands. And again, I love his willingness to fire those backhands. Not overhandle that. After he touches it, turn and fire. I think he's touched every puck here. It's just disgusting. Right? Like that spin backhand bury. Disgusting. Most of these pucks are bouncing. I'm not sure if you guys can tell. Most of these pucks are rolling or bouncing or not flat. Okay, so we can chirp the NHL player that's missing the net, but he's trying to quick release, turn, fire, not overhandle. Barely a single puck that's sitting nice and flat for him. I believe that I'm showing him one of the goals that he scored. I had it queued up on my phone because I knew I was going to be doing this drill. I think we talked about it the previous day too, where he did a spinning backhand. It was like a very similar type of a shot. Another thing that I'll often coach on this, which maybe I should have been mentioning it, pointing it out, because Lombo does a great job of it. When you do knock down a puck, or when a puck, it doesn't have to be a knockdown out of the air. Maybe it's a hot pass that kind of bobbles off your stick into space. If you're in a shooting area in the offensive zone, a lot of times we don't want to reach for it and stick handle it and bring it back to a shooting position, because what that does is that kind of puts our head down with our sole focus on getting that puck, and then defenders are coming at us and we don't see our situation. Instead, what we want to do is body surround the puck. We want to skate to it and surround it and get our head up, and then almost like one-time snap it, because we've now seen the situation, right? As we're going and call it body surround, like a defenseman taking a D-to-D pass at the point and surrounding it to take a slap shot, like on their proper wing side. But yeah, you can see that he did a great job of not overhandling it and moving his feet into the right spot. Getting some one-timer reps in. I mentioned earlier in this in the session that with players you have to be careful with their work to rest ratio. We're obviously doing a lot more stationary work here, so the player can get a lot more reps, 10 reps, quick break, 10 reps, quick break. But the goalie needs his rest, right? So much like I was talking about before. So one tip that I have for instructors, coaches, and maybe even goalies to bring this up with your coaches and instructors is to, if I am already planning drills that I want a goalie because they're like bank off the net, single shots, a little bit slower pace, and other drills that I want rapid fire and I want reps that goalies aren't going to like anyways, and we just want the player to be firing them, kind of alternate those, right? Or intelligently, strategically plan the order, right? So he's looking for a break anyway after that last drill. So it's like, hey, Lombo, jump in, give me 10 one-timers, right? Or give me 2 sets of 10 one-timers. By the time that's done, the goalie's ready to jump back in the net, and we move on to the next drill. And then the goalie gets tired from that next drill, and it's like, okay, another 20 one-timers, let's go. But just kind of, strategically planning the yin and the yang, if you want to call it that. The more intense drills for the goalie with a break, and then the more more movement and single shot drills for the player when the goalie's in the net, alternating with those stationary, more rapid fire type ones when the goalie's out. Okay, so switching sides, we didn't do this side where Lombo's got to deal with that moving puck. Oh, you kidding me? Yeah. It's super hard on this proper wing side to one time it when it's not like a flat pass, right? When it's bobbling or tipped or out of the air. So here I think I'm showing him like if the goalie's over early and you want to go back against the grain to kind of load and do like that Austin Matthews angle change, that Connor Bedard toe drag release angle change. So you got kind of scoop shot or one timer quick to the short side if you feel like the goalie's down and out. And then a little bit of an angle change back if you're going to shoot back to the glove side. Right, like kind of like that. Okay, there's only 3 minutes left here. There, I think I'm trying to show that angle change more. Like really try to pull it into your foot and get you the most advantageous angle for the shot. So we're at 8:30. There it is, posting in. Exactly. We're at 8:28 on the clock. This is going to be coming up in 2 minutes. 1 full hour. There it is again. So see, you love that, right? You love when you kind of you try to show something, make a correction, and then he pots 2 goals in a row by fixing it. You know, again, that's the type of thing where some players will just get frustrated and stop, being like, it doesn't work, right? Versus the guy doubling down on it and being able to apply what you're showing and what you're bringing up. Funny point to note too here is that this is 1 hour. Oh, now we're taking photos. We're done. This is the first hour. Lombo actually was on the ice for 2 hours every day. So he did an hour of private where we focused a lot on shooting, and then he'll come back for another hour with a few PWHL pro women, a couple East Coast players that that we got out in Calgary who wanted to do sessions. So we left all the skating and entries and different kind of things for that full group, and we really tried to get the reps of the shooting in that he wanted to get in. So just in case you're wondering, like, why we are focusing strictly on that. Now, there will be players that want only shooting privates. Ryan definitely want to work on everything together, skating and all that kind of stuff, acceleration, zone entries, different agility work. So we're doing all that in the second hour. All right, so there you go, guys. I hope that I was able to provide a little bit of insight onto whether you're a coach, how we decide what drills to do, how to order them. You know, I mentioned putting that net in the middle of the ice for 3 drills in a row, which just helps us move quickly. Like, I'm by myself, right? I don't have the ability just to be putting down a lot of setups if I want to be efficient with the time and get maximum reps. So we killed those drills in the beginning with the net in the same spot. We utilized kind of you know, the ones that you're skating more with rest periods, with the ones where you're not skating and just kind of more rapid fire. Really just trying to maximize your reps, but maximize your reps without the guy getting exhausted. How to structure it, what to work on if you're a player, some of the little details within each drill that we're trying to focus on, trying to coach. Remember, I mentioned that triple threat position comes into a lot of the drills, giving the player multiple options, pass or shoot or whatever, to make it more realistic and make their moves look like each other and give them options. So, yeah, there you go. If you guys have questions, drop me some questions in the comments. And until the next one, guys, take her easy.